I'm 28, and I spend more on therapy than groceries because I can't shake the feeling that my dad never wanted me. Last Tuesday, I told her the same story I've told a dozen times. My dad falling asleep during my dance recital, his head dropping during my middle school play, the way his eyes would close when I'd show him my art projects after school. He was there, but never really there. Dr. Chen leaned forward and asked a question she'd never asked. Did your father work? I said, yeah, obviously. She waited. I realized I'd never thought about what that meant. He worked at a warehouse during the day, also drove for a delivery service, cleaned offices at night, fixed cars on weekends for cash. She asked how many hours that was. I did the math out loud. 40 at the warehouse, 20 to 30 for deliveries, 15 cleaning. Weekends added maybe 20 more. The number sat between us. She asked when he slept. I said I didn't know. She asked when he saw me. I said he always made time after school, even if it was just an hour. Then she asked the question that cracked me open.
What did you two do in that hour?
We played. Board games mostly, sometimes Legos. He'd help me with homework. I stopped. I said he fell asleep during all of it. His chin would drop. I'd shake his shoulder and he'd jolt awake, apologize, and keep going. 10 minutes later, it would happen again. Dr. Chen asked how that made me feel. I said it made me feel boring, like I wasn't worth staying awake for. She asked if I'd ever asked him why he was so tired. I said no. I just thought that's how dads were. She wrote something down and said, or exhausted. That word hit different. She asked if my dad ever missed a day with me. I said no. She asked if he ever complained. I said no. She asked what he did say. I remembered. You're my best part of the day, kiddo, right before his eyes would close again. That night, I called my mom. They divorced when I was 12. I asked her about his work schedule back then. She went quiet. Then she said, your father worked himself to the bone. She said he took every shift because he grew up in a car. His family was homeless for most of his childhood. They slept in a van, ate at shelters. He promised himself his kid would never know that life. She said he'd come home at 2 a.m. and be back up at 5. She begged him to rest, to skip a side job, to sleep instead of playing with me. He refused. She's only a kid once. I'm not missing it. She said he'd set alarms so he wouldn't sleep through our time, but his body would give out anyway. She'd find him passed out on my bedroom floor mid-Lego build because he didn't want to leave before I went to bed. I sat on my kitchen floor and cried. My mom said he never told me because he didn't want me to feel guilty. He wanted me to think everything was easy. She said the hours destroyed their marriage. He was never around for her, only for me. I haven't spoken to my dad much in years. Last night, I called him. It was late. He picked up on the second ring. Hey kiddo, everything okay? I started crying. I said, Mom told me about the jobs. All of them. He took a shaky breath. I said, I thought you didn't want to be there. He said, baby, playing with you was the only thing that kept me going. I'm sorry I kept falling asleep. I told him he didn't have to apologize. We stayed on the phone for an hour. He told me about the van, about ketchup packets for dinner, about swearing his kid would have toys and a bed and a dad who showed up, even if that dad could barely keep his eyes open. Dr. Chen says, I've been grieving a version of my childhood that didn't exist. I thought I was unloved. I was loved so hard it looked like exhaustion. Now we're working on gratitude and how to forgive myself for misunderstanding a man who sacrificed everything to make sure I never knew what it felt like to have nothing.